Open House Dublin is the biggest architecture festival in Ireland, and it's delivered by the Irish Architecture Foundation. We in the Irish Architecture Foundation are driven by the need and our passion to develop audiences for architecture, to raise the appreciation of architecture, to engage people in their city and in the built environment of their city. Over a weekend we open hundreds of buildings to the public, for the public to gain access to get a tour by an architectural professional and to learn something, but to learn something in a really inspiring way.
For people who've lived in the city for years but have never seen some of the really interesting sites from the inside, this is a wonderful event and experience.
To open up all these buildings across the city, both old and new, and to bring in the community to see and participate in what are beautiful architectural buildings, what are history, what's going to be cutting edge, and how are people going to live, work, and operate. That's just fantastic.
When an architect is leading a tour, you get an awful lot more. You get an insight into the sort of things they took into consideration that you mightn't have known, and even some of the things about how it's put together that you hadn't realised.
I suppose being from a job so local, it's fascinating to find out things that are on our doorstep.
You know, and it's so varied, you know, everything from I heard somebody playing a grand piano in the French embassy today, to standing on a boat in Grand Canal Dock, to seeing historical buildings that haven't been open to the public.
I mean, there's a huge amount of, I think, from what I know, international architects that have done amazing work in Ireland, and Irish architects as well, and it's amazing to be able to see the mesh of that and just to see like the built space and kind of see the stuff that we interact with and actually start to think about it a bit more than we do in our daily lives.
We don't just show about the design and construction of a building, we show about the impact of architecture, particularly the walks that happen during Open House. We talk about the development of the city and what we can do better and what we can learn from the past. So, you know, you can have a very sort of passive, enjoyable impression of Open House, but you can also go to it in order to be sort of activated and motivated to do something about your city and to get engaged in your city.